All right. Thank you very much for your patience. We are going to start today for our topic that is quickly identify application performance problem and infrastructure root cause presented by Uila. So before we jump into our presentation today, which will be just a few slides, and we'll dedicate most of our time for live demo. But before we jump in, just a very short background for Uila as a company. So again, I am Chachi Kwan, co-founder for Uila, and along with me is Roger Yao, who is our founding engineer for Uila. And we are a startup company based in Silicon Valley, California, United States. And we are founded in 2013, though the company's history has only been 2+ years and privately held today. We definitely have proven our product with quite a few large customers, including the largest hosting company data center in China, a top tier sportswear company retail center, 6,000 point of sales throughout the world, and $1 billion of revenue data center located worldwide. So they are also one of our customers, just to name a few. So we definitely are in the stage where we are providing very cutting edge technology to modern data centers and proven our technology. And thank you for your attention today for our webinar to listen to our story to see what we have proven and then help the data center around the world. So we are, again, back to the company, is 2+ years old in the Silicon Valley. So we're startup and proven technology. So without further ado now, I will dive into just a few slides to give some background of our company and also the idea of our solution. So let's dive into our first slide. So I think with many of you are already involved and probably deeply involved in the modern data center. And we as a company, as the founding mission of our company is very much surrounding the software-defined data center, where we're seeing the trend, everything is becoming virtualized, everything is software-defined. It's pushing the data center to the highest efficiency possible. And a lot of data center, including businesses, are benefiting a lot from these. However, we also see lots of challenges that's as a result of pushing everything to the minute, to the very extreme. So with that in mind, we see application workflow and workload being very dynamic and very efficient, and we see the business objective being achieved or sometimes not being achieved, being impacted as a result. So though we want to get the highest efficiency, at the same time, we want to be able to address the challenges for the modern software-defined data center as well. Therefore, our solution was born to take advantage of virtualization to address the most modern challenges in today's data center. So that's a quick background, and moving down to the next slide. So what are the challenges to today's data center? Even though everything is so efficient and so fast and so dynamic, the challenge remains from our point of view and from many of the feedback that we hear from our customer is such that we do not see the overall picture of the current modern data center. We see silos of it. Everybody as a whole can see the whole thing, but no individual can see the entire picture clearly. For example, virtualization engineer can see virtualization very clearly, but not the big picture. And likewise for network engineer, for application owner, for storage engineers. So the challenge is that when something don't work, for example, your business critical application in terms of delivering business revenue is not delivering the service that you expected, trying to find out the root cause of the application typically takes a long time and there's nowhere to start. Therefore, as you see in the slide, where do I even start, right? Do I look at my networking, or do I look at my storage or my server virtualization, and etc.? So that typically becomes a very long, dragged bottleneck for problem and issue resolution. But it's not because that you don't have any tools. I'm sure you have a lot of tools. For example, at the physical layer, I'm sure you have a lot of physical tools that monitor on your compute and network and storage devices. However, how those physical and hardware resources are being virtualized to provision the application is sometimes a mystery to the physical layer staff. And at the same time, for virtualization engineer, even though we provision the hardware resources or physical resources to the application, but how are these virtualized resources are being used by the application and how application performance and topologies actually is, it is many times a mystery to the virtualization layer staff. And to the application owner or DevOps organization, I am sure you also have application DevOps tools, which are many in the market. However, those tools embedded agents into the application that sees very clearly into the application, however, lacks the overall horizontal physical infrastructure and horizontal virtual infrastructure information. So again, back to troubleshooting, which tool do you use to quickly identify the root cause to the application performance issue? Or even more fundamentally, how do you even get the full stack visibility of your entire data center, including from application all the way through virtualization layer to physical infrastructure? That remains a challenge. So what we do is be able to provide a very easily deployable monitoring solution that give you full stack visibility, allow meaning the sysops or IT ops inside the infrastructure layers. We provide you with a full stack visibility so that you can do troubleshooting and then visibility and then monitoring comprehensively for the entire data center. So to be more specific about what we do, again, to repeat my previous statement, is again to the IT operations manager or IT staff. Our tool is not specifically for application owner. If you're DB admin, I'm sure you have your DB admin tools that help you look into your database very, very deeply or into your web application. However, our tool is targeted for the IT staff, the data center infrastructure managers. Even though your task, your responsibility is at the infrastructure layer, we believe in order to match up your responsibility together for your data center's mission to in delivering application, we need to provide you with a full stack visibility starting from application performance. So application full stack visibility down to physical layer through the virtualization layer is one thing that we believe is critically important to you. So that's the first thing that we do. And secondly is back to the challenges of troubleshooting taking a lot of time. And also it's very critical to the data center in terms of delivering business objective. So our value proposition and benefit to the IT staff is to be able to troubleshoot an application performance issue in the minute down to application root cause. And so far, both of these value propositions that I mentioned are more passive, right? Is more reactive. However, we also provide preventive methods so that you can find the hotspot, you can prevent application performance future issue by optimizing your data center infrastructure. So with that said, let's see how we actually deliver what I promised to you. So at this point, I'll hand it over to Roger to go deeper into our solution and do the technical demo. Roger?
Hello, everybody. I'm going to jump in to talk about Uila architecture. Right now, everything sitting on the slide is your infrastructure. Right? The first component Uila deploy in your infrastructure is called Virtual Smart Tab. Basically, it's a small VM sitting on each hypervisor and collect the traffic in and out of the hypervisor. And as you can see, it's very scalable, and the resource footprint of this VM is very small. So normally, it costs less than 1% of your CPU and memory usage. So from what VST does, we call it VST, Virtual Smart Tab. So what it does is passive sniffing all the traffic, right? And do the deep packet inspection. From that, VST got the TCP layer information, like the network round trip time and fatal retries, retransmission, that sort of information. And on the top of that, VST also measure your application response time as a way to to measure, evaluate the application performance. And most importantly, the VST also collect all the transaction informations, like who's the client, who's the server, what's the reply, what's the request, that sort of thing. And later, all the VST gonna forward all the application and network metadata to the second piece of Uila. What we call is Uila Virtual Information Controller. In short, it's VIC. So VIC is sitting in your data center and collect information from Virtual Smart Tab. And also the second piece of information coming from your virtualization management software, including VMware, Hyper-V, KVM, and OpenStack, different kind of platform, right? From the virtualization management software, Uila get all the infrastructure structure data, like who's the client, who's the server, who's the host, what's the data store. And also we collect the CPU usage, memory usage, storage latency, that type of information. And after that, VIC digests all those information. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention, the third piece of information VIC collect is from your physical infrastructure. VIC do SNMP query to your top-of-rack switches, and from that, we got all the networking information from your physical infrastructure as well. And after that, VIC digest these three sources of information and forward the information to the third piece of Uila, what we call Uila Management and Analytics System. In short, it's UMAS. So UMAS is the place where database and backend engine plus the web UI resides, right? So we deliver this service by either on-prem or SaaS. So you can open the web UI to the UMAS component, then you can see all the analytics and different graphs and charts. So after talking about the architecture, I'm gonna spend most of my time in lab demo.